Happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at SportsNola.com. Lenny Vangilder with Jude Young. It's our first NBC weekend, holiday weekend, I should say, preview brought to you by First NBC Bank, locations all across Southeast Louisiana, and we thank them for their support of SportsNola.com. Jude, let's start with the Saints, and a huge game coming up. I guess they're all huge at this point when you're 5-5 trying to make the playoffs, but the 49ers coming to town on Sunday afternoon. It's a 3:25 kickoff inside the Dome, and I got to believe that the way that playoff game ended last year with all of the twists and turns in the last 4 minutes, it's just a gut-wrenching loss for that team. That has got to still be on the minds of some of these players as you head into Sunday.
Well, one would hope that they could find any motivation possible, and that would be primary on the list for the New Orleans Saints, trying to avenge a loss that when any Saints player or member of the organization looks back on it now thinks, hey, that was probably our road to the Super Bowl that we were so close to taking all the way when you look at how things played out after that loss. Now they have an opportunity to continue turning their season around, and if they play like they have been playing on defense, being opportunistic, and on offense being able to run the football, then they can beat anybody in this league. But if you watch Monday night, you see just how good the 49ers can be. They're an extremely talented team, and I think right now the best team in the NFC.
Well, it's going to be a tough task containing that 49ers defense that had 6 sacks, 5.5 alone by Aldon Smith. But the one thing that we don't know at this point about the 49ers is who is going to be behind center. Is it going to be Colin Kaepernick? Is it going to be Alex Smith? Two totally different types of quarterbacks, which I believe has got to make for a challenge for the Saints as they prepare this week.
There's no question about it. Both of them are mobile, but what we saw from Kaepernick was the ability to make the kind of throws that only special quarterbacks make. We didn't think he had that in him when you looked at a guy coming out of Nevada last year that seemed like a real long-term developmental prospect, but he looked like a legitimate NFL quarterback who can make all the throws and run a diverse offense with what he did against a very good Bears team. Meanwhile, Alex Smith is the devil you know, and he's pretty mobile too, but both have been awfully successful. You look at their quarterback rating, QBR, you name it. They've been solid with a team that's better at wide receiver than the last time the Saints saw this club. And of course, they still have that power running game.
While the Saints still have 6 games left in the regular season, LSU Tulane closing out the regular season this weekend. Let's start with the Tigers. They play Friday in Fayetteville for the first time in a long time. That game has been in Little Rock against Arkansas, that Black Friday game, although it moved back to Saturday for a couple of years, now back on to Black Friday again. This is an Arkansas program that's in disarray right now. Clearly, this will be John L. Smith's last game. Meanwhile, LSU coming off a really gutty performance against Ole Miss, needing to get that 10th win. Will it be enough to perhaps land them in the BCS? Some chips have to fall and help them in that regard.
Unquestionably, all LSU can control is winning this final game, getting to 10-2. If they can do that, then obviously they're going to play sometime in January, one would think. The real question here is this team focused? You didn't see a team that came out ready to play, I don't think, against Mississippi State and certainly against Ole Miss. Defensively, we've seen some leaking the past couple of weeks as well, and Tyler Wilson, that Arkansas offense, can really challenge you with the passing game. One hopes a young LSU secondary, and even those experienced guys like Eric Reed and Thorold Simon, who struggled against double moves and the complexity of the Ole Miss passing attack, one hopes they're ready to play and learn some lessons in Tiger Stadium, because when they get to Fayetteville, Arkansas has nothing to lose, but they do have a passing game that can challenge LSU if they're not focused and ready to earn a victory on the road.
And Arkansas a couple of years ago cost LSU a chance at the BCS with a win on the final day of the regular season. Shifting gears to Tulane, they will close out the regular season at Houston, a 2-9 season at this point for Curtis Johnson's club. Obviously, they are not going bowling, but if you can't go to a bowl game, the next best thing you can do is to win your regular season finale and use the momentum of that to be able to carry into the offseason, be it recruiting or just your offseason workouts.
When you look at what Curtis Johnson has done and you see 2-9 as the record, it doesn't tell the whole story. This team has gotten better as the season's gotten along. They've gotten healthier on offense, and we saw the second half of the year with Ryan Griffin at the helm, what that team can do to be able to score some points. They haven't been as good on the road, but the motivation is clear. When when you're building a program, you look at the little things, avoiding double-digit losses. That's important for the Green Wave at this point. First-year coach. I think they're going to be focused. Griffin's final game in particular, his leadership has been impressive the last 6 games or so. I think Tulane's going to give themselves a real opportunity against another mediocre Conference USA club to have a chance to get a victory and have a feel-good event to move into the offseason with.
How the mighty have fallen in Conference USA. The 2 best teams a year ago, Houston and Southern Miss. The Cougars are 4-7. The Golden Eagles are 0-11. So it has been a topsy-turvy year in Conference USA, and that's, hey, an opportunity for the future and what will be a totally different look league in 2013. One other college football game we should mention going on in our town Saturday afternoon in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's the annual Bayou Classic between Grambling and Southern. Both teams having a tough go of it this year, but that is always an entertaining event. Don't miss the halftime. It's clearly going to be, the best part. Of course, you've got the Battle of the Bands Friday night. It's a whole weekend, and a lot of people will be visiting our city for that event. And of course, we'll be, we're creeping into the silly season, if you will, a little bit. We'll start hearing about jobs and such. We'll hear about, bowl opportunities. We could start getting some bowl news as soon as this weekend, and we'll see where some people land and how things are going to shake out. Of course, on the high school front, Ken and I had the preview of the quarterfinals, a huge high school quarterfinal weekend, and catch all the action right here at sportsnola.com. Jude, it's been a pleasure. We will see you again soon.
No question. I want everybody to enjoy their holiday weekend, a great weekend for families, and that's important to us here at Sports NOLA. And, of course, you're important to us as well.
Yes, you are our reading family. So thanks for staying with us and viewing and reading and enjoying all the features of sportsnola.com, and a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving to you and yours. We'll see you next week with a review of this Thanksgiving Day weekend at sportsnola.com.